Even if you don't know what it means, you've probably heard the word being used in a movie or a TV show in the past.
I declare bankruptcy!
In this video, you'll learn what bankruptcy is, the different types of bankruptcy, and when is it an appropriate time for an individual or an organization to file for bankruptcy, and also how it may affect you. So let's jump right into what is bankruptcy. Well, imagine you as an individual or an organization whose debts have become so overwhelming that you can't believe you'll ever be able to pay that. Either you've made some poor choices, or you've made risky investments that went south for too long and you can no longer manage that risk. Or you lost a job and you can no longer make your loan payments. There are various reasons someone can file for bankruptcy, and there are different types of bankruptcy. In fact, there are 6 different types of bankruptcy that are known as chapters. The most common ones that you'll hear is Chapter 7 and 13, but we'll cover them all right now very briefly. So Chapter 7 is when a court-appointed trustee is in charge of selling your assets and distributing the profits to your creditors. It's generally the best and most commonly used option for those with a low income and very little assets. And it does give you an opportunity to get the court judgment to release you from responsibilities for paying unsecured debts. There are some debts that won't be forgiven, including alimony, child support, some types of unpaid taxes, and student loans. Next is Chapter 9. The purpose of Chapter 9 is to provide financially distressed government entities with protection from their creditors. Think of cities, towns, villages, school districts. The idea behind Chapter 9 is that it'll allow the municipalities an opportunity to create a plan to resolve the debt between themselves and their creditors instead of going insolvent. Then we have Chapter 11, also known as the reorganization bankruptcy. That is because it gives businesses a chance to stay open while they reconstruct their debts and assets to pay back their creditors. Now, any size of business can be using this, but it's mainly for large corporations. Examples of companies that have used this before is American Apparel, Circuit City, Radio Shack, and there is a bunch of others. But basically, it's a last-ditch effort to stay alive, and it probably also means that it won't stay alive. So the next one we'll look at is Chapter 12, and that is designed specifically for farmers and fishers. This is similar to Chapter 11 and Chapter 13, but it's mainly designed for the individuals or organizations that are making most of their money from farming or fishing, and the reason for Chapter 12 over the others is that it's a simpler process and it's cheaper. Most importantly, you'll be allowed to keep your land and water space to continue operating your business. Now we'll move on to Chapter 13. Chapter 13 is a very interesting and useful bankruptcy filing to keep in mind. It allows individuals with regular income to develop a plan to repay all or even part of their debts. So really, what's the difference from Chapter 13 and debt consolidation? Well, see, Chapter 13 is when you fall really behind on things like mortgages, car payments, utility payments, or even lawsuits and medical bills. It's not only about falling behind, but it's also about something really big that can happen in your life, and all of a sudden, you are in large debt. And when you owe a lot of money to an organization or an individual, those companies or people will do anything and everything that they can to get their money back. From shutting off your lights to repossessing your car, even freezing your assets and suing you. And in those cases, filing Chapter 13 will give you an opportunity to get back some financial control. And lastly, we'll talk about Chapter 15 very briefly. This is the newest bankruptcy code that was introduced back in 2005, and the purpose of Chapter 15 is to provide efficient methods in dealing with insolvent cases involving more than one country. So now that you know the different types of bankruptcy, let's talk a little bit about when it's appropriate to file for bankruptcy. So declaring bankruptcy can help relieve you of your legal obligations to pay for your debts and save your home, your businesses, or the ability to function financially. And of course, it depends on what kind of bankruptcy petition you will file. But it can also lower your credit, make you seem less trustworthy, and overall just less responsible, making it more difficult to get a future loan, mortgage, credit cards, or even rent a place to live. There may not be necessarily a right time to file for bankruptcy considering the negative effects, See, life is full of choices that come with risk and reward, and sometimes that risk can lead to financial disaster, and in that case, your only option may be to file for bankruptcy. But don't let the opinions of others sway you from your ultimate goal. Mistakes happen, and you learn and grow from those mistakes. Invest in yourself and subscribe to this channel. Keep your focus, learn, and evolve. My name is Rai from Company Comprehension, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Have a good day.